Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here to the start of this week's Fan Fridays, and look at this team from Sunny right here that we have the Gourgeist, and Gourgeist is capable of some crazy things in the 7th generation, mostly because Z Trick or Treat, and it's kind of interesting that we have Z Force Curse and Z Trick or Treat doing the same effect, but I feel like it's a bit more effective on the Gourgeist because you make your opponent a ghost type Pokemon, you do bonus damage. However, seeing the Porygon 2 makes me think it's going to be something completely different. That what you do is you create a normal ghost typing on the Porygon 2, who just got a special attack boost, and then Gourgeist also gains +1 to all of its stats. But that's what I'm wondering, like, why haven't we seen this in singles more? Everyone should know by now that what Z Trick or Treat does, and if you have that much, then maybe it should work in singles. Maybe some other problems we don't know about, but overall, some fun stuff, and it just boosts everything. So +1 to all of Gourgeist's stats, and it is going to use it on the Porygon. I haven't seen the Z Trick or Treat yet for the animation, and that was pretty dope. Also, it's pretty funny that, like, they just had to pan it over, like, oh, animation's over here. There we go. And that's also a Trick Room. So actually, amazing combo right here, because they just support, well, actually, never mind. I was about to say they support each other so well, but Gourgeist, it doesn't want to go +1 on speed. I guess Gourgeist can be so, I gotta look up the stats. Like, is it possible for Gourgeist to be so slow that even at +1 speed, it outspeeds most sweepers? That you're not going to go, or it underspeeds even under Trick Room or whatever. But yeah, that's why you want to, like, run Gourgeist, so you can outspeed into Phantom Force and get insane damage on a +1, now hitting super effective, and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. But Fortress will protect, and, like, Fortress is a slow Pokemon, so that kind of messes with things, but overall, Garchomp into an Ice Beam from the Porygon 2 will never end well under a Trick Room. So the work is getting put in right now, Gourgeist with that Phantom Force. Unfortunately, the opponent did not know that Protect doesn't really work, and it breaks protection, so if Porygon 2 wanted to, you know, there could be some other things going on in different speed scenario combos. Fortress going to protect again, though. I don't know what Fortress is up to, but Porygon 2 will throw down the Thunderbolt. That will get protected, and then the Gourgeist Seed Bomb. So, how much damage does Gourgeist have on a +1 Seed Bomb? A surprising amount, but doesn't Hitmonlee have, like, nothing on defense? I gotta look up some of these stats after the battle, like, what is going on with the Gourgeist? A +1 Gourgeist, though, should be able to hit pretty hard, and if that is a large Gourgeist, then it should be also pretty good on the speed. Or bad, I don't know. So that's going to be Fortress going down, and suddenly the battle is over. So yeah, I spent a lot of time, like, I'm trying to figure out the exact intricacies, but overall, a lot of damage came through. I think the, just the matchup helped a lot, that Porygon 2 was able to slaughter everything, and then everything else was a one-hit KO, besides for the Fortress with the, Phantom Force. So let's go into the next battle and see how it ends up going. Okay, so Gourgeist is a lot slower than I expected, and I mean, just with the super size, I know that it gains hit points and a little bit of offensive damage, while also getting slower depending on the size and stuff, but 54 base speed is actually a really good place to be, even at a +1. So just kind of showing that the numbers get so tiny. At level 50, with 0 IVs, completely bottomed out nature on the speed, you're only at 53 speed, so +1's only going to be 50% more than that, and it's still going to be that you're outspeeding anything that matters in the Trick Room, because that's kind of how you're built. That if it'd be roughly, I don't even know what it would be roughly the same as, maybe like a 70 base speed Pokemon or something like that. So yeah, those Pokemon can work under the Trick Room, but let's get right into the next battle. So, interesting idea, and I feel like it's kind of on the lines of the Autotomized Celesteela. That once you actually work through the numbers and think about it, it's really powerful, even though it seems very counterintuitive. So let's go and see how this one plays out right now. So that's going to be Sylveon, Talonflame, and look at the opponent's team. I think Sylveon is the only thing that might be an issue, but if it has any speed investment, or if the Sylveon's trying to do something else, the opponent has a very fast team, so it's going to work really well under Trick Room, especially after we see the Flame Charge. But Gourgeist can tank it pretty well, and Talonflame going to go for more speed, as Sylveon locks down a Dazzling Gleam for double damage, and the tankiness is pretty real, as we can see right here. So yeah, Like, they survive the first turn, then Gorgeist turns around tankier with more damage and faster because of Trick Room. Okay, then. So the Z Trick or Treat, and then, I mean, we also have to consider it. Okay. Seeing the animation go from the other side really shows that the animation is kind of hilarious. It's playing even while it's focused on the Gorgeist, because you can see a little bit of the pumpkin right there. But there we go. So all kinds of fun stuff. And now it's a Porygon that's only super effective by like Dart type moves and has 2 immunities. 3 immunities. It's pretty ridiculous. I don't remember everything about normal Ghost, but I know there's a lot of hype about it because it can be pretty strong. So a lot of people are actually like wondering in the 6th generation if you could like, you know, just Trick or Treat on normal type Pokemon, something like a Snorlax, and have a crazy strategy. But now with the Z Trick or Treat, it does make the Gorgeist more powerful, and Porygon's just tanking. We have Trick Room in our favor, so going pretty good right now. As we see a Lychee Berry though from the Talonflame. So it has attack, it has speed, it's going for all the craziness, but the Thunderbolt will be enough to finish off the Talonflame, so the opponent's setup, while pretty crazy, kind of falling flat, and then Gorgeist with the Phantom Force. So, I mean, if you can get the Phantom Force in, it's all good. And that's going to be Dazzling Gleam, will miss, or will avoid on the Gorgeist, and Porygon 2 will barely survive it, but now there's no priority on the field, so that means it's just going to be Porygon comes in, heals with a Recover, Gorgeist hits the Sylveon, and there's no protecting. Like, that's another really good thing, is that if Gorgeist is the slowest Pokemon, or fastest, or whatever Trick Room means, if Gorgeist can break the Protect before Porygon hits, it's kind of like having that Feint, except you're doing a lot more damage. A Phantom Force stab +1 is going to be huge. That's the Guard Chop response in the Porygon. Yeah, you just gotta learn that they always have Ice Beam. I think I actually made that mistake recently. It's like, yeah, you just kind of go into it like, oh, right, that's how it happens. And then massive, I was going to say mad damage, just massive damage on to the Sylveon right there. Now it's a Mimikyu. You just combo down, break Disguise, go for some extra damage. That's going to be the Thunderbolt right there. Mimikyu's Disguise will break. It can't do anything in a 1v4 though. And another battle just pretty much over like that. So Gorgeist does have a little bit of sustain on the Pain Split. So Phantom Force, Pain Split, Seed Bomb, Trick or Treat. This is pretty much how I'd imagine running it in singles as well. So kind of seeing like the difference between singles and doubles. Like to see a singles Gorgeist at some point. But overall, a good strat, doing some pretty fun stuff. And yeah, that's going to be Shadow Claw, super effective. But Gorgeist survives at the +1, gets the Phantom Force in, and then you just can't Shadow Sneak the Porygon. So Mimikyu doesn't really have too many options as we see Recover come through. So that's also going to happen. And Mimikyu with the Play Rough. So Play Rough onto the Porygon. Solid hit once again. Porygon just too tanky. And then Phantom Force will definitely KO the Mimikyu. So let's go right into the last battle. And these battles just wrap up pretty quickly as well. And now let's see what happens. So we know the strategy. We know how it breaks down. We know how it plays out. I'm just like sitting here like, yeah, I'm just talking about it. And battle's happening in the background. Suddenly, it's done. So the Porygon 2, I feel like it has to be a quiet nature. It has to have some kind of damage back up to it because Porygon 2 is putting in the work under this Trick Room. And then everything just kind of dies faster than I expect. But that's coverage Porygon and then +1 on the Gorgeist. I mean, this game right here, it's only a 6-turn battle. So Galvantula, I don't know what his setup's going to do. Like, I was about to say, are we going to see Sticky Web or are we going to see Electro Web? It's a Trick Room strat, so any kind of Tailwind or any kind of whatever, you know, it's not going to work from whatever I see here. Shadow Ball on the Suicune, different, but actually doing a good amount of damage. Doesn't matter, though. You win for setup. Like, that, there's so many things that could just go wrong in a Pokemon battle. Like, oh, I don't have a way of stopping the Porygon Z or Porygon 2 from doing Trick Room. And then the battle just ends right there. So, yeah, there we go. That's going to be Trick or Treat. Porygon 2 getting that added typing, setting off a Trick Room. We already know that these two Pokemon are the slowest on the field. Now going to be sweeping and damage check time from here. So Porygon 2 with the Thunderbolt onto the Suicune. Huge damage, but those legendary stats going to keep Suicune alive as Gorgeist vanishes instantly. And Galvantula is not going to be having a good day. We'll go for that Volt Switch. What's the opponent going to bring in as a response? Going to be the Goodra. Alright, let's see how much the +1 damage does to a Goodra. And Suicune has the Mirror Coat. Oh! Oh! Suicune with the tech, though. dropping a Porygon 2 in one hit. Not bad. So we're going to actually see another Pokemon, and it's Snorlax. So Snorlax gets a little bit of time under the Trick Room. Also, like I said earlier, I guess it's a Pokemon that you can use the Trick or Treat on if you really need to. And then Snorlax is going to go really well after that. Suicune has Protect, though. That's not good for Phantom Force. And that means, okay. So pretty much no matter what happens here, it's just going to be a good thing for Snorlax. So Snorlax gets the free Belly Drum, and it will be Gluttony into a Confusion Berry. So full health under Trick Room with the max, and Phantom Force targeting Goodra, and Goodra gets one shot. I just don't believe that damage. Yeah. I understand +1, it's only a 100 attack, but it just hits hard with that Phantom Force, and it just works. So Noivern has the Frisk. I don't really think it matters at this point. We know what the Ghost Team Z is all about. Snorlax with the Trick Room Rock Slide Belly Drum. Huge damage onto Suicune and Noivern. Noivern surviving with the Focus Sash. So I guess Gorgai's just going to throw out Seed Bomb for Suicune or something just in case. Nah, it's flexing the Trick or Treat onto the Snorlax. Because why not? And it's going to be over. Noivern with the Hurricane. Gorgeist avoids the attack anyways because that's 70 accuracy. And that is going to be Galvantula. So that's just like Mega Wrecked right there. Snorlax just doing the damage. So Porygon 2 and Snorlax supporting with much higher amounts of damage than I expected. And then +1 Gorgeist just kind of shows up and goes, oh, I can hit this. You're dead now. And again, the Phantom Force, if you don't understand the Phantom Force breaks Protect, that's going to be a pretty bad day as well. And overall, I think that was a fantastic start to the Fan Fridays. I finally get to see my Z Trick or Treat Gorgeist put in the work. And that's kind of it. So if you guys enjoy the video, I hope you guys in some next Fan Fridays coming up in a bit.